Hello and welcome to Maritime Punk. This week I'm chatting with Gary and Scott from London, Ontario's Hellaphant. Crumble and Rise, the latest album. It's also the name of a recipe by my grandmother for apple pie. Some themes in there for mental health, some very hard-hitting issues and important issues. Was this something you were always fond of writing, or was it just something at this point in your life where you felt that you needed to kind of share these stories?
No, usually when I'm writing the content for the songs, I usually have an idea ahead of time of what I kind of want to write about, per se. This album, it just happened to come along. The writing came along just as there was a lot of things going on around me in life. So in some situations, like my father lost his battle to suicide. My mom passed away from cancer within a short period of time. A bunch of my friends went through some pretty hard situations like divorce and all that such. So I just basically tried to write the lyrics from being in everybody else's shoes at that point. Not like a woe is me kind of deal, more just kind of writing about how it does go. Now I do suffer with like mental health issues like a lot of people do, but I just tried to convey that because, and it's weird because Chris isn't here tonight and he's always the one that tells me to tap into that, do what we know kind of deal and take it from there. So we post it. The guys usually don't even know what the lyrics are until I record them. And then after that, it just works out that way. We rehearse, but nobody can really hear what I'm like. I can't articulate what I'm saying, like when I'm singing it. So we practice really loud. So there's no way that anybody's going to hear it, but it's more just to keep me in shape.
Yeah. And then you get to the studio and they're like, dude, that song's about cereal? I had no idea.
Yeah. Well, the first time we were in the studio when we recorded Shingles, we had written the bridge for it, which is at the end, and there's like a line in there. Tell me all the things all the words you said I never said. It's not the way you say it. It's how they're said. And the guys had never even heard it. They didn't even hear the melody because we wrote the bridge I think 2 days before going in the studio because we're like the song needs something else. And so when they stepped out when I did the vocal track, and then they came in and they're like, "What the hell?" So that's kind of how it always goes. Like we write the music, and then just I scribble ideas down in my pad as it comes along or on my phone, and then I just put it all together. And then by the time we're in the studio, I kind of mix it around so it kind of plays better. But yeah, I always have an idea. So this one was completely fully mental health, and that's the name as well, right? The Crumble and the Rise.
Yeah.
Coming
out of the pandemic too, there were issues before, but I feel like there was a lot more that came to the surface. So can you tell me a bit about this tour in the Maritimes? Have you guys been to the Maritimes often in your life, or is this a treat for you?
No.
In Halifax one. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. Okay. I've never actually, this is the furthest east I'm ever going.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I've been overseas. I've been across Canada to BC because I was raised out there. I've been across the States. But I've never, for whatever reason, I played in Chicoutimi once.
Okay.
And that's it. But every time I've tried, something happens where the shows get canceled or weather. So we're actually quite stoked to be coming out.
Yeah. You're in for a real treat. Everyone walking around eating lobsters and every stereotype you can think of.
Yeah. It's, Jay was just out there, actually, strangely enough, right? Jay's not here.
Yeah.
But Jay and his partner just were out east. They just drove out east and bombed around, and he was he's quite excited to come back.
Hmm.
So he's already kind of given us the kind of the oh yeah, it's going to be great. It's this, it's that, and I'm just like, yeah, okay,
Sure.
yeah.
You're just like
I'll be in the back seat.
roadie.
Yeah, yeah. Singer, guitar player, roadie. That's
Mhm.
basically my thing.
Do you guys? What's your dynamic when you're on tour? Do you have a usual driver? Do you swap around?
Uh, it goes Chris, Scott, Jay, and Gary, um, and that's just the dichotomy of it. Chris has the van that we use the most times. Scott has the other van. Jay and I both have like smaller SUVs, so we can only take part of the gear. We can't take all of it, or we can take all the gear, but only two of us can go. So on this tour coming out, we actually rented a van. So we're all just going to take shifts on it, and yeah, it's more just not. It's just really who wants to drive. I think.
Who's not sleeping at the moment?
Yeah,
Exactly. You
yeah.
never want
And
the
Jay
sleeper
can't.
driving.
Yeah, and Jay can't sit in the back seat
No?
because he gets car
Hey,
sick.
boy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Nickname
There's
is
always
Puke-
one.
Puke Boy.
That's
Yeah.
his excuse, anyways. Maybe
Yeah.
he just wants the
Well,
back seat.
we oh well, Scott was in Germany for work, and we had to play out in Port Hope, I think it was, and on the way back, Jay was in the back seat. And, yeah, I was up front, and all of a sudden, he's like, "We got to pull over. We got to pull over." Sure enough, like for the next 20 minutes, he was just throwing up. So ever since then, I've been okay with him sitting up front because, yeah, the smell for the rest of the ride home was
Yeah.
quite brutal.
It's not
So,
worth it.
no, just take the front, Jay. It's all good.
Yeah. Tell me a bit about the dynamic you have with the guys you're playing with now and why it's working so well.
Scott?
I was going to say I've been lucky. I've always kind of that have been with my friends kind of first before we were in a band. This was the only band that I totally didn't know uh, what I was getting into really as far as singer songwriter Gary. I hadn't met him until I was in the band kind of thing. I listened to some previous work he did and I was impressed with it. And I knew our bassist Chris for a long time, so thought I'd give it a try, and everything worked out, and we seem to all be on the same for most of our stuff. So it's like hanging out with friends like this or go on the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like you said, you spend a lot of time together, so that's important for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Are you a big skateboarder
Yeah.
or do you just collect decks?
I skateboarded a lot, not so much recently, but yeah, I've kind of purchasing the boards I couldn't afford as a kid now. They make a bunch of reissues and stuff, so
Nice.
I still try and get out once in a while, but definitely every day like it was at one point.
Yeah. And I know one of you is kind of a gearhead for guitars, gear. Is that you, Gary?
Yeah, that's me completely.
Yeah. So tell me a bit
Like,
about some
yeah.
of your prized possessions.
Oh man.
Is the list
You know
too
what?
long?
Yeah, it actually is. It's
Yeah.
kind of ridiculous. But it's kind of like it goes to what Scott said. Like the band kind of bonded over the fact that we didn't really grow up with much. So we're four different guys from all over the place. Like, like the crazy part is Jay is from London, Ontario. Not part of the music scene. Didn't know anybody. I just knew him through work. But we all seem to just have the same kind of upbringing where we didn't have a lot. Now that we're in a position in our lives where we can. So, I've been basically buying all the gear that I dreamed of ever owning as a kid. So it goes back to 57 Les Paul Juniors to I just went on a bit of a spree buying Flying V's, old Marshalls, pedals,
Mhm.
like you name it. If I can get my hands on it, I like, I do it, and it's and just like Scott, I'm the same with buying reissued skateboards.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, or if I see something like Dinosaur Jr. just put one out a little while ago with the cow, the happy cow from the Where You Been Now. So yeah, that's hanging on my wall back there. I just bought a whole bunch of Douglas Copeland limited edition Roots skateboards that they put out in 1996.
Mm-hmm.
I just bought the set. It's just been a weird thing. Yeah, I'm to put it bluntly, I'm a bit of a recovering addict for stuff, for alcoholism. So I just kind of it seeps into other things. So it's like, instead of wasting my money on crappy things, I buy guitars, a lot of guitars. It's stupid how many I have. Like,
Man,
Chris
we could do a whole interview just on your guitar collection, probably.
Yeah, you probably could.
Yeah.
Chris owns 2 basses. That Jay owns 2 guitars. Scott has 2 drum sets.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've got 47 guitars, and
When you're on the road, are you checking Kijiji listings and Marketplace?
Yeah.
Looking for deals?
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah,
Are you a trade up kind of guy?
Oh, there's nothing in my collection that I don't like.
Okay.
So I'm at that point where if I buy it, it's because it's something I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only thing I didn't like in the last little while was I bought an Ibanez Iceman, or it was a Japanese Greco, which they make an awesome. Anyways, that's the only one I didn't like, and so I got rid of it. But everything else is all like, it's here to stay. It's something that I had my eye on since I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
The weirder part is just when we play, because like I cycle through them so much that the tone always changes. So when I was playing all my juniors all the time, like that's my main sound is an old Gibson Junior. But to take them on the road, if they go missing, I'm out a lot of money. So then I started switching to Les Paul Customs, and the same thing. And then Chris had said to me about 3 or 4 weeks ago, that I need to just have fun, find guitars that I have fun with. So I had this old V sitting around, so I started using that and couldn't believe how much fun I had playing it. And then I had to get it back up for the road, and that led to another one. So needless to say, I'm good for the road. I've got what I need. So
yeah, I had a Flying V as one of my first ever guitars, and it was a nightmare trying to learn how to play guitar with that. Just like, you're trying to position it on your leg. I'm just like, oh man, I almost quit. And then eventually I had just a little cheap acoustic where I started to learn, and then I started to like the V just to show off when people came over and someone would play Guitar Hero, and I'm like, I could play that on my guitar.
Yeah.
But no, they're pretty cool guitars.
They're I always wanted a specific model, and that's the ones that I've gone after. So, but yeah, it's kind of crazy. But yeah, Jay's got his. He plays the EVH Wolfgangs, and he's in love with those. Chris is playing a Fender Squier Jaguar bass that we built, and Scott uses really awesome vintage Milestone drums, which were made in BC, and they're all fiberglass, and they sound like cannons. Like, they're so loud. But you wouldn't know it when you look at them, because they just look like black drums, but they sound pretty amazing. So it's a nice sound when everybody's playing together. We've kind of dialed it into what we want. So
is there a 5th member in the band? It seems like Scott has a little friend back there. Is that the unofficial mascot?
Moose.
So Hellaphant coming to the East Coast for the first time ever. Be sure to check them out, and maybe a little message to everyone on the East Coast ready to see you. What can they expect at a show, and who's going to be playing with you?
I think they're going to, anybody who's coming to see us, I think they're going to be, I don't think you're going to be wasting your money. We're playing with the Follow-Ups. We played with them once out here in London. That's how we met them, and that's how this whole thing came together with from Jordy at Faster and Louder, who's our record label. and we're also playing with the East End Rivals. So we're getting pretty stoked to get out there. What they can expect from us is comedy. It could just we have a lot of fun. We goof around a lot. Yeah, comedy. But yeah, no, we just like to have fun. We're high energy, and from the moment Scott counts us in on the first track, we pretty much go, and then until we're done. So we're pretty stoked. We're looking forward to it. Like, we've been kind of looking forward to this one for a while. So
yeah, and the Moncton wins an all ages show, so bring your babies.
Yeah, with ear covers, because we've been told we play a bit loud. So
just a bit.
Yeah.
And you'll have some merch with you too, the new albums.
Yeah. We've got we're bringing we've got an awesome shirt design by Chris Sherry. Mm-hmm. He's the guy who does all the art for the Descendants and all. He does a lot of the California skate scene, nice. the punk scene. So he's done one of our shirts, our main Hellaphant logo, like it's a big angry elephant. We've got our normal logo, our main logo. Those are coming out. We've got toques because the winter's coming. Stickers and stuff for basically anything on any budget. So we're pretty stoked. We actually are looking forward to coming out. So
for sure.
And we're also looking forward to not getting in a fist fight in the van. So that's going to be fun too.
The real test.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome. So thanks so much for doing this, and best of luck on your tour.
Thank you very much, and hopefully we'll see you when we're out there.
Yeah, 100%.